A fire broke out in a pub in Bangkok, Thailand. It's all over the news. Over 20 people lost their lives. More injured. This episode is for them. Because in every emergency and not in every fire, every accident, every moment when everything goes catastrophically wrong at once, there are always two kinds of people: the ones who freeze and the ones who move toward it. And for a very long time, we assumed the difference between those two people was courage, character, moral fiber. Some people are just built that way, and most people are not, and there is not much you can do about which one you are. Psychology has a different answer. Welcome to FreeCell Lab, passive visualization, while we ask, if you were in an experiment right now, what would you miss? Stick around. By the end, you'll have something most people don't: the ability to process before reacting. I'm not going into the details about what happened in Bangkok at the club. There are other channels that cover the news. This is a psychology channel. We want to explore why people do things they do. The two people in emergencies. Let's get into the research by two neuroscientists named Ruud Hortensius and Beatrice de Gelder. They published a model in 2018 that reframed everything we thought we knew about why people freeze in emergencies. They proposed that when we observe a person in danger, or when we ourselves are in danger, two separate brain systems activate simultaneously. The first system registers personal distress, and it drives the freezing response, or avoidance, moving away from the threat, protecting yourself first. The second system registers empathy, sympathy, the pull toward the person who needs help, the impulse to do something. Both systems fire at the same time. Which one wins depends on which one is faster, and which one the environment gives space to operate. Or as the age-old proverb, you know, the one with the wolf, which wolf will win? The one you feed. In the Bangkok fire, the threat was immediate, overwhelming, and the environment provided no clear information about how to help. For many, the avoidance response won, not because those people were cowards, because they were human. So then, who are the people who run toward it? The first responders. The strangers who pull people from burning buildings. The people who, in the footage from Bangkok, you can see helping others out through the smoke while others run. Are they just different people, built differently, born without the fear response? No. Research on what psychologists call the hero impulse shows something far more interesting than that. The people who act in emergencies are not people who don't feel fear. They feel exactly the same fear as everyone else. The same personal distress response fires. The same first system activates. The difference is that their second system, the empathy response, the pull toward helping, activates faster, or has been trained to activate faster. And that training is something that can happen deliberately. Studies on first responders, trained volunteers, and even ordinary people who have previously intervened in emergencies show the same pattern consistently. Prior exposure to emergency situations, even simulated ones, dramatically increases the speed at which the empathy system overrides the distress system. Your brain, in other words, can be trained to process before reacting, not to eliminate the fear, not to become fearless, to create enough space between the distress signal and the avoidance response that the empathy system has time to do its work. That space is small. It might be measured in fractions of a second, but it is the difference between running toward and running away. Biologically brilliant or brain bug? The personal distress response to freeze or avoid kept our ancestors alive. When the threat is a predator and the only useful response is to run, that system is not a flaw. It is the reason humans survived. The brain bug is that the system was not built for mass emergency events like burning buildings with obstructed exits and flammable foam soundproofing and crowds of people in the dark. It was built for open landscapes where the path away from danger was visible and the exit was wherever your legs could carry you. That is not a character flaw. That is a design mismatch between a very old nervous system and a very modern world. Now, what do we do with this? The research gives us something concrete, something actually useful. That is worth taking away from this episode. In an emergency, the single most effective thing any one person can do is move first. Not because you are the most qualified, not because you have the best plan, but because the research shows consistently that when one person moves, others follow. The first mover breaks the mutual freeze, activates the empathy systems of the people around them, demonstrates that action is possible. One person moving is the signal that changes everything about how every other nervous system in the room processes the situation. You do not have to be the hero, you just have to be the first. And the way you become the first is to have rehearsed it, even mentally, even once. To have asked yourself in a quiet moment, what would I do if the power went out right now? Where is the exit? What is the plan? That question, asked once in advance, can be the difference: flight, fright, or freeze. Take the time right now. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the chair you're sitting in, the bed you're lying on, the toilet seat if you're on the pot. Mentally visualize, mentally practice what you would do in an emergency situation. Feed the wolf of action. Next time you feel that first freeze, that fraction of a second where everything stops and your body hasn't decided yet,